Howdy, my name is Cameron Camille, and today I would like to explain to you the ins and outs of biobutanol. So biobutanol is a 4-carbon alcohol made from plants and organic waste, and it stands out because it behaves much more like a gasoline than most biofuels people have heard of. It has a higher energy density than ethanol, and it is more compatible with existing gasoline engines and pipelines. It first appeared in the 1900s when companies used microbes to make solvents for industry. As petroleum grew cheaper, the process faded, but in recent years it has resurfaced due to modern renewable fuel interests. So to cultivate biobutanol, you need 2 categories of feedstocks. One of them would be a more traditional feedstock, usually something like corn, sugarcane, molasses, a sugar or starch-based feedstock. Another process would be using agricultural residues such as crop residues, organic or food waste, or energy grasses such as miscanthus or switchgrass. Biobutanol cultivation starts with biomass, which is a material created through photosynthesis. Plants will take in sunlight and carbon dioxide and turn them into carbohydrates, and from there, those carbohydrates become raw materials for the fuel. Once the biomass is collected, the carbohydrates must be released, so starches and cellulose are broken down into simple sugars. These sugars then enter into the process of fermentation. Special anaerobic bacteria, often from the Clostridium family, convert sugar through glycolysis and fermentation into a mixture of acetone, ethanol, and butanol. This is known as ABE fermentation. Because butanol is toxic to the microbes, the concentration stays low, and that means extra steps are needed to separate and purify the fuel. Techniques like distillation, gas stripping, and membrane filtration remove the butanol from the broth and produce a usable fuel. And in some advanced systems, scientists engineer microbes to tolerate higher levels of butanol or produce it from gasified biomass instead of sugars. Despite coming out in the 1900s, biobutanol is currently in its research and early development stage. A few demonstration plants have been built around the world, but large-scale production is still limited by cost and technical difficulties. Biobutanol has the potential to significantly reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Because the carbon in the fuel originally came from carbon dioxide captured by plants, burning it simply returns that carbon to the atmosphere, creating a closed loop. The biggest environmental benefits happen when the producers use waste or residue feedstocks and power the biorefinery with renewable energy. There are still challenges, however, as growing new feedstock crops can lead to a land use change, and the separation steps require a lot of energy. Biobutanol is still more expensive to make than ethanol or petroleum-based fuels. Costs usually come from the price of feedstocks, the difficulty of fermentation, and the energy needed for purification. Biobutanol does, however, have a valuable chemical market, and it can be sold as a solvent or used to make plastics. These higher value products help support early biorefineries and create rural jobs in agriculture and processing. Communication efforts worldwide around biobutanol are growing, but public awareness is still relatively low. Most outreach comes from research groups, renewable fuel organizations, and pilot plant demonstrations. Messages typically focus on butanol's engine compatibility and potential to cut emissions without major infrastructure changes. So right now, all research suggests that biobutanol has strong potential, but only if key challenges are solved. Fermentation needs to become more efficient, microbes need to tolerate higher butanol levels, and separation technologies must use less energy. I would suggest that we prioritize waste and residue feedstocks, that we invest in improved microbial strains, and that we design facilities to produce co-products like acetone for more economic viability. If funding was a non-issue, then the best path forward, in my opinion, would be to build several large demonstration biorefineries using all the different kinds of feedstocks, and then pairing these facilities with renewable energy, advanced separation systems, and cutting-edge genetic engineering to push microbial productivity to new limits. I think it would also be beneficial to launch major public education programs and run real-world trials with fleets using high butanol fuel blends. Okay, thank you very much for your time. Gig 'em.